All right, elementary artist, this is Miss Sapola, and in this video we are going to make a torn paper monster using the method of collage. So a collage is when we cut or tear things and glue them down to make our picture. So we will be using colored paper today. You'll need a colored sheet of your paper from your art packet. You will need, a white, I don't want to show you my monster yet. You got a sneak peek. A white piece of paper. The white paper is going to be our background. The colored paper, you're going to pick a color that you want your monster to be. And then I cut a little bit of my white paper off. So scissors. I cut a little bit of that off because I'm going to need a little bit of white paper to make some eyes on my monster, and I don't want to waste a whole sheet of white paper just to make two small eyes. So I went ahead and made my background white paper a little bit smaller by cutting a strip off the bottom to start. That's first. And you need a colored piece of paper that we're going to cut or tear your monster out of. We're going to need our glue stick to glue it down. You might need scissors, but I want you to really think about and try to tear your monster. The scissors, we need to cut that nice clean strip of paper off of your white background paper. And then also we will need your markers. So to make a monster, it can really look like anything you think a monster looks like. It could be friendly or scary or silly. You might think about the monsters if you've seen the movie Monsters, Inc. You could think of the monster that was in the book Jeremy Draws a Monster, or really any other cartoon or idea that you have seen or thought about of what a monster, or basically a made-up animal, a made-up creature, could look like or might look like. So I've torn my different pieces. I have a body. I could have the body and head be all one, but I have a body, a head, two horns or pointy ears. I have two legs. Your monster could be a flying monster, so maybe you would tear wings instead. Those things are up to you. But to tear your paper, you're going to get your pinchy fingers out. Pinch, 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 pinch. I'm going to hold my paper together. And then if I'm right-handed, so the hand that I draw with for me or write my name with, that's this hand. It's going to be the hand that pulls towards me. It's going to do most of the work. My other hand is going to kind of sit still or even push away a little bit. If you're left-handed, it would be the opposite, because this hand, if you write your name with this hand, it's going to be easier for you to do most of the tearing work with this hand. But we need both to make it work. Okay, so we need to be thinking what shape would I want my monster to be. So you would use your fingers together, thumbs are together on this side, fingers are on this side, and I'm going to hold the paper, and with my stronger hand, I'm going to pull away, little bits at a time, because I'm controlling what shape this is. If I just were to tear right now, I'd probably just end up with a triangle or a rectangle. And I'm thinking more of a circular shape. So turning my paper, getting my thumbs in there together. So my thumbs are close to each other. My strong hand is pulling, I went out of the frame. My strong hand is pulling towards me. My other hand pushes away or stays still. Boom. That's a good monster body. I already made one, so I'm going to keep the one that I have here. There we go. But my monster still needs some arms, so I'm going to tear those out. So again, thinking about the different shapes for the different parts and tearing them out. If you are really having a hard time tearing, you can cut, but it is supposed to be harder to tear than cut, and sometimes it's okay to do things that are hard. All right? Okay, let's get moving. That arm looks pretty big. Make it a little shorter. Arm. And an arm for the other side. All right, I'm ready to glue these pieces down. And I'm going to be putting the glue on the smaller, the colored paper, not on the white paper. That way I know I only have glue where my object is. So glue goes around the edge, and then an X or a line through the middle. Flip it over. I only put glue on the one piece for right now, and I'm going to press that down. Next. That piece was smaller, so just around the edges was fine. Your real small pieces, you might need to take the piece to the glue stick. I am on top of a messy mat. You should always be doing your artwork on top of a messy mat. So this is week 8 of remote online at-home art. So if you've been doing this with me the whole time, you should always be on top of that scrap piece of paper. I'm gluing my pieces down. I'm trying to go quickly because I want you to have time to make yours. To really have it look more like a monster, I need to give it eyes. That might be something you do want to cut out little circles for, or partial circles. So it's most of a circle, but the bottom's kind of flat. You could have circles, you could have squares, you could have triangles. Your monster could have 1 eye or 10 eyes. I'm going to go with 2. Gluing these down. And then the rest I can actually do with my markers. So he's starting to look like a monster, but he needs some more details. So I'm going to put some pupils in his eyes, nice and big. I'm actually going to leave a little reflective circle. That makes it look a little more like a cartoon and like a reflection that would actually be in an eye. But you will see these in cartoon drawings a lot of the time, and it just makes it look like an eye, a pupil, a little bit more if we leave that reflective spot. And then maybe you want to give your monster a nose. Think about what kind of mouth would your monster have. This is where it starts to become up to you, right? What do you want your monster to look like? Maybe he's going to have a zigzag mouth with a little tooth hanging out. He could be a smiling monster, a sad monster, a silly monster. I'm going to add some details like claws. You could add regular toenails if you didn't want claws. And then with the space around my monster, if I had any time left, in that storybook Miss Apollo read, Jeremy Draws a Monster, that was one bossy monster. And I could draw in the space that I have left, things that maybe I would want to ask for or demand if I were a grumpy monster, or it's just a way for you to show us some things that you like. So maybe you really like pizza. You could draw a piece of pizza in the space around the monster, or any other food that you might like. Maybe you like video games, so you can make a video game controller in the space around the monster. If you've already used all your art time listening to the story and watching this video and just getting to this point, then you could be finished, right? That would be okay. You don't have to put anything in the background. Or you could fill it with a designer pattern. So you could put zigzag lines in the background or polka dots, something like that. So I want you to have time to make yours, so I'm going to stop right about here. Mine looks pretty cute. Our artwork should always have our name on it. So signing your artwork on the front, oops, or putting your name on the back is also okay. And as I mentioned, if you have time and you want to, you can add some more fun things to the background. So Miss Sapola happens to like cupcakes a lot. And I am going to draw a giant cupcake for my monster. And then it will be your turn. Thinking, what do you want your monster to look like? Maybe what do you want to put in the space around your monster to show us what you like, or what patterns and designs do you know how to make that you can put in the back. All right, I can't wait to see your monster creations.